Welcome to Front Up on GenoTV.com and Channel 99. Our guests, I'm Dan Drake, and our guests today are Michael Kopko and Lynn Bolton. Michael is somebody who is familiar probably to most of you, but Lynn is a newcomer to the TV scene in Nantucket. Welcome.
Thank you.
You are here on behalf of the White Heron Theater Company. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what your roles are and what the White Heron Theater Company is?
Okay. You want to start?
Sure. We are co-artistic directors of the White Heron Theater Company. It was a company that was founded years ago in 2004 in New York. I founded it with Earl Gister, who was the head of the Yale grad acting program then. And Earl was older and retired, and so we put the company sort of to sleep for a while. But last year we started to do some work together, and
you did a play here last year, right?
We did.
We did.
What was that?
We did Candida here last January. We had done, I directed The Fantastics for the Theater Workshop last year, and Lynn had directed last year Book of Liz. And we'd worked together on some of that, collaborated on some of that. And then Lynn did a Chekhov workshop. She sort of specializes in that with a bunch of actors and invited me to do that. And we found that we'd been trained the same way and worked the same way. And then Lynn directed The Crucible, which we did at the Quaker Meeting House, which was a great experience. And we started talking about how we could work together some more. And Lynn had this theater company, and so we decided to reinvigorate her theater company. We did Candida here last January.
And then didn't you take that to Edinburgh?
We did.
We did.
Well, how did that work out?
It was great. Yeah.
It's an experience. Oh, it's wonderful. No, we played every day for a month.
Wow.
So there's nothing better.
For the whole festival?
For the whole festival.
Wow. Yeah.
30 days, we had one day off. So there's nothing better than getting up every day and doing what you love to do.
Yeah.
But we worked early in the morning because classical theater is on in the morning, and then it sort of goes into comedy at night. So we worked early in the day, and then we had the day off. So
and it's incredible. The Edinburgh Fringe Festival is the biggest performing arts festival in the world. There are 2,500 shows in 250 venues all through the city. There's 10 shows a day in every venue, and we were one. So we got to see a lot of great work as well as perform every day.
How were the audiences?
Great.
Very. The audiences loved it. It was funny because the Edinburgh Fringe Festival has a lot of sort of edgy kind of stuff, and we were doing a classic British play in Britain, which we probably, I don't know what we were drinking when we thought that was a good idea, but they were very kind and they loved it. We got great reviews. We had one reviewer write that they thought we were a British company until they read the playbill after the show, because our accents were, I guess, in the ballpark at that point. So
we were with a lot of British actors who were pretty well known because they were TV stars or on the stage. So we would come out and people would run up to see these people they knew, and they sort of, who are the Americans? Walking by.
And tonight is opening night for a play with a very interesting name of God of Carnage.
God of Carnage,
which needs some explanation.
Well, first of all, I want to say it's a comedy. It's a comedy. The name is God of Carnage, but it's a comedy. It's a funny play.
It is.
It won the Tony in 2009. It was written by Yasmina Reza, who wrote Art. James Gandolfini and Hope Davis and Marcia Gay Harden and Jeff Daniels did it on Broadway. They had a great run there. It was very funny. And we have a great cast. Laura Gallagher Byrne, who's well known to Island folks, is in it. She's very funny. And we have 2 actors from New York who are
and you're both in it.
I'm directing.
You're directing.
And I'm in it, yeah. Okay. Somehow I got cast in the James Gandolfini role. I don't know how that happened, but that's what I'm doing.
But this is only part of a bigger effort that you're now engaged in here in the theater.
Yeah. We keep not taking no for an answer for some reason and just saying, well, this worked. Why don't we do something bigger? And when we started with the White Heron Company, we talked a lot about education at the beginning and how we wanted to build an educational component into what we were doing. We liked working with other people, teaching, and Lynn's on the board at the Yale Repertory Theater and the Yale Drama School, and we, as we sort of worked and developed that idea and massaged it a bit over the year, the idea of creating a theater institute here in Nantucket started to make sense, because we thought Nantucket's a great destination. We kept talking to people and saying, you want to come out and work with us? And they're like, I don't know, where is it? And we say, Nantucket. They go, well, yeah, we'd love to come out there and work. So we started thinking if we could build an institute where we could do playwriting workshops and master classes and have a theater where we could produce professional theater here, that would obviously be a dream come true.
And that was the genesis of the Nantucket Theater Institute.
That was the genesis, yeah.
Which now has made a splash by buying some real estate.
Yes, indeed.
We have a home.
We do have
5
a home.
North Water Street.
And that was just a very lucky, right place, right time kind of thing, because it's there's room on the property to build a theater.
I think now that there's
with a full-size stage.
With a full-size stage. That's really a trend we're finding in theater all over the world now, is to smaller theaters, doing more theater in smaller theaters rather
spaces,
than less theater in big spaces. Yeah,
it's more intimate, I think.
Isn't the Dreamland also don't they have a budding program?
They do, and it's interesting because the theater workshops focuses primarily in community theater. The Dreamlands focuses primarily in young people's theater, kids theater. And we've talked a lot with Melissa and Gabrielle about what their missions are and what our mission will be. And we find that there are 3 very discrete and distinct missions that will sort of fill out the whole picture. We'll be doing, the shows that we produce here will be professional equity, shows, which separates them sort of from what the Dreamland and the Theater Workshop are doing, I would say.
So what's the first step here?
Well, Lynn took the first step and went ahead and bought the property, and that was the first step, because when we're building this concept in our minds, that's all, and we talk about it and write about it but taking that concrete first step was really important, because now we really have a campus that we can build around and talk to people about development. We've got to raise a lot of money to get this done.
How much money do you think you have to raise?
Millions of dollars, certainly, I would say. But we have certainly people in New York and New Haven that we've been talking to over the year that are very supportive of the Institute concept. And if there's anybody out there that would like to have a theater named after them, we're happy to call it the,
whatever.
You name it theater. Name it after your dog or your cat, and we'll call it whatever you want.
The challenge, I think, for many organizations is to make them viable for the 12 months here.
Yep.
Yeah.
It seems to me that you have an opportunity with this to really work in the off season with people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bring them here and create partnerships with other entities here, including the schools, for example.
Yes.
And so on.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's part of the thing that really appealed to me about the Institute idea, was because we even during the time I was in the government here in Nantucket, the idea of a year-round community and keeping downtown vital was always a big issue, and it still is. And we feel like having an operation like this downtown, where we're bringing people here to the island all year round, keeping the lights on, keeping the heat on. These people need places to stay. They need to eat. They want to buy T-shirts. So we feel like it's a great economic development idea for downtown. And there's this sort of cultural corridor idea that people have been talking about, with the Mariah Mitchell, and then coming in with the Dreamland and the nightclubs and the NHA and the Athenaeum, and then we'll be sort of anchoring the north end of that cultural corridor.
Well, it is ambitious.
It is, but everything we've done, we've said, well, let's do Canada here in January. Okay, what the heck, we did it, and it succeeded, and then we said, well, let's take it somewhere else. And where are we gonna? I don't know. And Lynn just said one day, what about this Edinburgh Fringe Festival? Anything about that? So no. So we went online and looked it up, and we're like, well, this is biting off a lot. But what the heck, let's send in our application. We ended up with the top theater producer there, and for a month, and it was just beyond our wildest dreams. So
you're going to take God of Carnage over there too?
I don't know where we're going to take it.
Yeah.
But I think we don't know enough to. We're not. You know, we don't know enough about all this to be afraid of dreaming big.
Maybe that's not
and
bad.
I think the best ideas are always organic. You know, you start something and it leads to something else, and it leads to something else, and it leads to something else. And that's sort of how this started. And, you know, it started just as a workshop, and, well, let's do an actual play. Well, if we have the play, let's take it someplace. Well, let's go to Europe. Well, if we do that, then, you know, everybody else wants to be involved. How do we get everybody involved? Well, where are we going to put it?
In the old days, they used to be starting in Peoria and going to Broadway.
Yes, indeed.
That's right.
Yes,
now you're talking
exactly.
about something very global.
Right.
Absolutely,
it is global.
Yeah.
Have you been in the theater all your career?
I have. I started in the theater with Actors Theater of Louisville when I was 15. And I came here to Nantucket in 1974 to dance with the ballet company here. And then I've worked in the theater in New York and in New Haven at Yale, and directed out here, which I've loved. It was so great. And so in and out of Nantucket over the years, but now here a lot more.
Good. Well, I guess the appropriate thing to say at this point, Michael, is break a leg.
Yes, that is the appropriate thing to say.
But don't do it on the steps on the way out.
We won't do it on the steps on the way out. And we're going to plug the show one more time. Doing God of Carnage at the Dreamland, on the main stage in the Dreamland Theater, which is a beautiful theater. Friday, Saturday night, Sunday matinee this weekend, and then next weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, first weekend in February.
Dates, Mike?
That's January 31st, February 1st and 2nd next weekend.
Okay.
So we hope to see people out the theater.
Super. Well, I think it's, as I said before, a very ambitious thing you've undertaken, and wish you well with it.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.